world where you can be anything, the most wonderful thing you can be is yourself. Jockey, feel free.
My name is Jim Tretow, Tretow. I'm the VP of Media and Communications for the Milwaukee Mile. I work for Speed Channel. Let's see what else do I do. Public address for Daytona International Speedway and Phoenix International Raceway. I work on a radio show for 24 years now in Milwaukee's ESPN affiliate called the Racing Roundup Show. I was born and raised in Franklin, Wisconsin, born at Deaconess Hospital in Milwaukee, and Franklin, Wisconsin is about 3 miles east of the old Hills Corner Speedway. That's where I grew up, so when I heard rumbling of race cars on Saturday nights, I had to be there. I went to grade school at St. Alphonsus Grade School in Greendale. Our lot line in Franklin was the Greendale city line, so a lot of my friends were close by. My dad had a service garage literally in the front yard of our house, so I grew up in the garage with my dad, and I'm the youngest of 9 kids, so we had a lot of fun, never had a dull moment at home. It was crazy. Being the youngest, I was sometimes the football, sometimes I was the last kid down the stairs, so I had to help mom with the chores because everybody else was pushing me to the side, so I had the shortest wheelbase, as I say, the shortest legs. So I got close to my mom for obvious reasons, but I think mostly because they kept pushing me back up the stairs when there was work to be done at home. Because we're so close in age with my family, we were literally in St. Alphonsus Grade School for 12 years, or 13 years I think it was, the span from me getting in first grade and my older brothers graduating 8th grade. So I was always around it because my mom and dad were actually the presidents of the PTA, I think when I was about 4 years old. So I went to a bunch of meetings, I was in the hallways. It seems like I was there for 12 years in grade school. So there's a ton of memories. I got to meet a lot of great people. And at that time, we had 108 kids in our graduating class at 8th grade. So in terms of knowing everybody, it took a while, but I think I had a good job of knowing a lot of kids in a lot of different grades. We actually, from Franklin, we went to where my mom went to high school, Pius High School in Milwaukee. She was a 1953 graduate, and all of us went to Pius. And it taught us a lot because it was a 12-mile drive from home. And it also was a way for us to say, okay, I need to commit myself to being an adult sooner than I want to. We had to actually pay for our own last 2 years of high school because of the size of the family and the education costs. So it taught us to get to work and work hard at an early age. Probably the friends and the near win we had at state for football that year. Darn it, we lost on a field goal. But I was a member of the pep band, had friends in the shop, and I was also hanging out with the jocks. So I guess I got to see a lot of different people. Some people I still stay in contact with all these years later. I didn't know what I wanted to do after high school. I actually applied for UW Milwaukee the week before classes started, the August after I graduated high school. Not a clue. For 2 years I took all the general classes, and a friend of mine said, why don't you try this mass media class I'm taking? You seem to like to talk a lot. And at that time I just started announcing go-kart races with my brothers in Dousman. So I thought, let's see what this plays out to be. I kind of like what that may hold. So in 2 years I got my degree and got out of UW Milwaukee with a degree in mass communications. Well, Milwaukee is great because the Milwaukee Mile has been here for 105 years. The Milwaukee Mile is the oldest active track in the world. And me as a kid coming to Section R as a 5-year-old kid, and my ears were ringing for 3 days after, but I couldn't wait to see A.J. Foyt and Butch Hartman and Don White and Dave Watson, all these guys, bigger-than-life heroes that I see on TV once a year in the Indy 500, all race the next week at the Milwaukee Mile. I couldn't wait. And fortunately, with all the kids, my dad always seemed to have a ticket for the young guy, and I got to do a lot of things at the racetrack because my dad said, okay, we can take you along. And I would sit on the hump, I'd sit in the back, I didn't care where as long as I got to the track. So that's been a long-standing affinity for me now that I get to travel around the country and get to work here at my favorite racetrack. It's easy to find the energy, believe me. There's a lot of work to be done. We have a small, dedicated staff at the Milwaukee Mile. My role is like any other small business. A lot of us have a lot of hats on the shelf. And to get to interface with the IndyCar Series teams and get to know the drivers a bit, which is a great thrill for any race fan that I kind of consider myself always a fan first, and then a member of the media and helping the media get their job done second, is really an opportunity that not many people get. And to have it here at Milwaukee at our track to showcase that for all the fans that have been coming here for over 100 years, I guess would be the way to say it, but the fans that have been here 30, 40, 50 years, and getting to know that they are continually supporting this racetrack, it's a big thrill. And it doesn't take much to get fired up and tell people about how great it is to see the racing here at Milwaukee and how great the racing is once they hit the racetrack. Yeah, my responsibilities, I get the fortune, I guess. It's not a responsibility. It's a great opportunity I have with Speed Channel. I work on the ARCA Remax series on pit road for the broadcast on Speed. I've been on television since 1996 as a commentator on television for various networks and always about racing. So when I get a chance to go to different racetracks, and when I'm in Daytona for 11 days during Speed Weeks in February, it's great to know that I can network with a lot of great different people. I get to know the NASCAR folks. I get to know the friends of mine that I had in short track racing that are now in NASCAR. I get to see them in the garage. Everybody wants to know how Milwaukee is. What's up at the Milwaukee Mile? What's new? Hey, we can't wait to get back there. So it energizes me and enthuses me to go, you know what, we got to make a difference. We got to make this better. When they come here, we want to be the best possible show they can possibly expect for our fans and the competitors alike. So I get to bring that back to the Milwaukee Mile. When I go through minute-by-minute meetings, when I have an opportunity to meet a celebrity and say, hey, if you're ever in Milwaukee, please stop by. Cultivating relationships with sports teams and lifestyle media, and just saying this is a great place. And the thrill I get is how excited people get when they get here and see a race, whether it be a first-time media member or a fan that's not been here since their dad took them in the 50s. So it's a pretty exciting and rewarding opportunity to get to travel the country doing public address, working in television and racing, and then have that stable base of Milwaukee and making it the best we can. I'm Jim Tretow, and wherever racing takes me, I'm always going to say I'm proud to be right here in Milwaukee, in Wisconsin.